This is the Moshpit Backstage podcast for punk, metal and rock interviews and segments.
Hey, this is Innez from Deafcult. You're listening to Moshpit on synth.
Innez is a guitarist and vocalist for Brisbane shoegaze band Deafcult, who are releasing their debut full-length Auras on June 30th. They'll be touring Australia through July and August, playing in Melbourne at the John Curtin on the 16th of July. Innez, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Now let's go back to the beginning. How did the band start?
So a bit over 2 years ago, we all sort of started jamming together. Stevie, the other guitarist and sort of main songwriter, reached out to a bunch of us. We were all playing in different bands at the same, like in Brisbane, and yeah, he just decided to put us into a room, and he had this vision of sort of what he wanted, and yeah, we all got in there and it clicked. So it was kind of lucky.
Deafcult? Who chose that? How did you kind of come up with that? How does that all work?
We spent a fair bit of time kicking around with names, and nothing was really happening. At the time, we had Tony Abbott as our Prime Minister throwing around the term Deafcult. I don't know if you remember that. And we just thought it was completely ridiculous and kind of messed up. And it kind of worked with the fact that we are a very loud band and have 4 guitarists, so we thought Deafcult could be a kind of a cool thing. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Let's go to the album. How did you write it? You said that Stevie's your main songwriter. Does he write all the music? Do you collaborate? How does it all work?
Yeah, so there's a few of us who have written songs on that one. I wrote a couple. Sean, our previous guitarist, wrote a few as well, but Stevie is definitely the one who brings in the most. And he's certainly more organised than I am. I kind of just bring in ideas and we go from there, whereas he will bring in a sort of full demo and we can kind of nut it out that night. But in terms of writing, we had the record kind of done November, not last year, but the year before. So we started recording then, and it's been a bit of a mission to it. We first of all recorded it all ourselves, and then took it to our friend Cam Smith, who recorded our demo, the one before this one. And we couldn't get it to the point where we liked it. After many mixes and trying different things, and we think Cam was unhappy and we were unhappy, and we just decided to scrap it all and start again. Hence why it's taken a bit to get it out. So yeah.
What's in this release, the one that's coming out June 30th, that wasn't really captured by your previous effort? What is it you were looking for that you found?
I guess in my eyes, I think we kind of rushed it. We had the songs ready, and we all went in and sort of just played them rather than actually knowing exactly what we were doing. So, and for a band like us, it's kind of really important that we have all of our sounds right. When you have 4 guitars on stage, you don't want them all to be sort of just meshing with each other or turning into a pile of mush. So I think we just needed to refine what we were doing and get our performances right. And so then in the re-recording stage, we tried a bunch of different amps and pedals, and we just kind of had everything down a whole lot better. So yeah, it was a timely experience, but definitely worth it to get to the end and be happy with what we've got. So.
With your band, you mentioned a couple times 4 guitarists, which I'm amazed by. I think you're the first band I've interviewed which has more than 2, I guess. How do you get that sound from all the guitars, as you said, sort of becoming a big mess? And how do you, figure out, I've got 4 guitars, you need them all to sort of do something. How do you get them all to do something and it's not all of them just playing one note along with each other?
Yeah. It's really, it's quite interesting how much time we spend on this sort of thing. Like in the writing stage, we kind of, there's Kelly and Matt who kind of play most of the leads, and then I would say Stevie and I are sort of the rhythms, but even now we're going more, like, less being rhythm guitar to more sort of atmospheric guitar. So it's kind of about filling these different spaces within the spectrum, I guess, and making sure that when those leads are happening that nobody's overtaking each other. Like, it's quite respectful in terms of what we're all doing and how we can support each other in our sounds and how we make it all work with each other. So, we might have rehearsals where we just go in and I mean, Stevie's coming in every week with different pedals to try out, and Matt's still bringing in different pedals, and we're all still, like, trying to find that perfect sound, I guess, and trying to find what works with each other. So it is a lot of thought that goes into it. I can't imagine us just standing on stage and plugging in and just blasting people. I think it just wouldn't work. So I'm glad we're still trying, and I think we're pretty much there, but it's nice that we still keep trying new things and keep going for different sounds too.
With your writing, you personally, so let's say before you get to the band and sort of say, I have these ideas, where do we want to take them? How do you personally write music? How does it work for you?
Honestly, it's just like sitting on the couch and playing guitar. And if I find something that I like, then I might, just demo a riff, or I might try and fill out the whole song. But typically from there, I'll just send the demo to Stevie, and he'll workshop some ideas and turn it into sort of a more full demo. Like, he's really incredible with kind of popping out demos that could probably be released, to be honest. I send it to him, and then once we've kind of got it sounding a bit fuller, we take it to the rest of the band, and we can kind of, have the song kind of filled out by the end of a rehearsal. So it's pretty fast, but in terms of my own writing, I'm quite a slow songwriter, but Stevie definitely pumps them out fast. So yeah.
Now, the vocal melodies, where do they come into the process?
Recording vocals is like the last thing we do. So we generally get all of the music down first of all, and then Stevie will write a bunch of the lyrics before we start working on recordings. And so, for the past couple of records, I haven't known what melodies were or what lyrics were until we're actually in the recording stage. So it's basically just going in and doing heaps of takes to try and get them right. But I don't know, it kind of works because it's spontaneous, and also maybe it's just, a long time of listening to the songs and kind of thinking about what could possibly be in there. And Stevie will typically have his vocals down as well, so I can just kind of figure out what I should be doing based around those two. So, yeah, that's the way we do that.
For most vocalists, I think they write their own lyrics. And those two ideas of performing the vocals, writing your lyrics, kind of go hand in hand because you're sort of expressing certain ideas. How is it for you performing something that, I don't know, it depends on different people. It can be very, very personal, very intimate in a certain way. How is it performing lyrics which you didn't necessarily write?
I think I can still connect with them. I mean, like, looking at how we've been talking about the record and sort of the ideas behind it, Stevie and I are quite similar in our backgrounds. So we, grew up in small towns, and there's feelings of disaffectiveness, and, the same sort of themes are, quite strong in both of our histories. So I can certainly relate and, get behind the lyrics. It's not like they're alienating in any way. Mm-hmm. And personally, I really struggle to write lyrics. It's one of the hardest parts of music, I think. So it's a little bit of a, breath of relief for me that I don't have to labour over them. But I would definitely like for the next record to start contributing a bit more in that area. But yeah, it's still really good.
One thing I noticed comparing your demo EP to this album was that you sort of branched out a bit in that you didn't always have those lovely vocal harmonies. I think it was Auras, beginning of Rubik's and Here Be Death, where you sort of, either yourself or Stevie sort of struck out on your own little parts. What prompted that choice? How did those come about?
I think with those tracks, they just didn't lend themselves to having both of the vocals. So we tried them out and just things weren't working. So it was kind of like, okay, well, we're not going to use that there, or okay, we could try something different here, but it's still not working. So it was really like, we did record a lot together, but it was a lot of sitting back afterwards and going, that's not right, or maybe we should try this, or maybe we should do this. So yeah, we just kind of decided that those ones should be left by themselves because nothing was really working. And I think it was for the best. Like, that's, I mean, it's up to the listener what they think as well. Yeah.
One thing I really loved about this album was how varied it was in a certain sense. You got more lighter tracks like Echoes and more heavier tracks like Judy. Where does that come from? Is that influences from you guys sort of filtering through, or is it just the fact that this kind of category of music lends itself to be very varied because it incorporates very different aspects of sort of this musical spectrum?
Oh, I think, yeah, you're right. The style of music, you can kind of borrow from so many different genres and mesh them together to still make a cohesive sound, I guess. But also I think it's the influences of the three different songwriters as well. So for Sean's songs, they might have been a bit heavier, or, you know, there's one that's way more Britpop. But that being said, even when you put them within the mix, like, it's not just the solo songwriters' ideas, like, it's throwing them in between a group of people who then make them work. But yeah, it's definitely moved. It's moved and it's grown from what we were previously doing, which is really good to see, because it's bad to be stagnant. But yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the genre as well, is that you can try those different things and still sound like the band that you are as well.
Let's talk a little bit about your live shows, your upcoming headline tour. How are you feeling about that? Are you excited, nervous? How are you feeling?
Oh, super excited. Yeah, we've never visited Adelaide before, so that's really cool. And there's a bunch of bands there that we're really excited to see as well. And the Melbourne show is just amazing. So, Brisbane, Butte, Sydney's going to be amazing, and Newcastle as well. Yeah, we're really excited. We don't typically get out on our own tours very often, so it's exciting to take the record out and also to play with all these amazing bands as well.
I haven't seen you live. I'm hoping to when you come to Melbourne. It's very shoegaze, noise rock, those kind of bands have tended to get a reputation of being very plonked in one place. How do you approach a show? What do you try to do when you're up on the stage?
Well, mostly not get hit by other guitars. For me, like, I'm kind of a bit... I'm not the most confident performer. Like, it's still a bit... I still get very nervous when I'm playing in front of people, but I don't think that we're the most, we definitely have some movement about us. But yeah, it depends on the size of the stage, how we're going, because there is so many of us. So,
I was going to say, on a small stage, you guys might struggle.
Yeah, it's a lot of sort of bopping of heads and, lifting of guitars around each other. But I think on the curtain, we should be comfortably spaced out there. So, yeah. You played
support for Alcest, who's probably put in my top 5 favourite bands. I saw them in Melbourne, absolutely amazing. How was that? How was that experience? How did the show go up in Brisbane?
Oh, amazing! Yeah, I think everybody in the band was just blown away by how incredible the sound was, and they were, especially for such a small band as well, to get that sort of depth in sound. And they were all super sweet as well. And I love Life as Noise, so it was just a bit of a dream show, really. Yeah, it was super cool.
I want to ask you a couple of questions about you personally. When did you first start listening to music?
Oh, I was quite young. My parents were really into music. They'd love to, listen to music quite loud when we were growing up. So I would say, probably my first memories are very, very young, 3 or 4, remembering listening to music. So it was always kind of there growing up. Yeah.
When did you first start listening to music in the category that you now play in?
To shoegaze sort of stuff?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Maybe 6 years ago or something like that. I wasn't hugely... I'd never really listened to My Bloody Valentine before, hence, just because of the name, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this emo band or something? And then I heard Loveless, and it just kind of put me on a path, I guess. Yeah, felt a lot about it, yeah.
When did you first start singing?
Singing in bands was only maybe 10 years ago, just doing backup vocals. And then I was in a 2-piece band where we sort of sang together maybe 6 years ago, yeah.
When did you first start playing guitar?
Oh, maybe 14 years ago, but not properly in a band until about 10 years ago. I played bass in bands before that, yeah.
Do you have any favourite bands or albums?
Oh, I can't even think off the top of my head what that would be right now.
No, that's all right.
I guess I just said, I don't know. I mean, I love Devo. Love My Bloody Valentine. Lately it's like Tra-La-La Blip or The Stevens. That will do for now, I guess.
Deafcult, they're releasing their debut full-length Auras on June 30th. They'll be touring Australia through July and August, playing in Melbourne at the John Curtin on the 16th of July. Innez, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Moshpit Backstage podcast. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and Omni. To find out more about the show, go to www.syn.org.au/moshpit. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/moshpitonsyn and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at moshpitsyn. The regular Moshpit radio show broadcasts punk, rock and metal tunes and interviews every Thursday nights on Syn 9.7 on FM and digital radios. Listeners outside of Melbourne, Australia can stream Syn 9.7 online at www.syn.org.au. Thanks to Vintage Ruin for the music.
Hi, this is Tomato from Flash Gun Apocalypse.
Hi, I'm Enid from Girls School.
I am Phoebe Pinnock from Heavenly Axe.
Hey, this is Gary Oldmead of the Misfits.
Hey, this is Kat Sproul from Horizon's Edge, and you're listening to the Moshpit on Syn FM.
Hi, this is Einar from Leopard.
Hi, I'm Virginia Lilly from the band Lily.
This is Raul from 1349.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ali from Beaverhead.
Hey, everybody, this is Charlie Benante with Anthrax, and you are listening to the Moshpit on Synth.